Let's face it, most people walk through life as if on autopilot, trapped by invisible expectations and labels they never chose. Have you ever caught yourself feeling like a supporting character in your own story? What if everything you thought you knew about finding meaning, happiness, and the true self was, in fact, upside down? In this video, you're going to discover why Nietzscheanism and existentialism are not just old philosophical trends, they're practical tools for rebellion against mediocrity. Forget those tired self-help mantras and empty promises of overnight change. I'm here to tell you, in plain English, that self-discovery is messy, unpredictable, and, yes, incredibly rewarding, if you have the guts to try. I'll show you why breaking free from herd mentality isn't just for rebels or philosophers. It's for anyone tired of feeling numb, bored, or stuck in a rut. Want to know the real secret? The fastest path to living as your true self is to challenge everything: your beliefs, your routines, even your definition of success. So, are you ready to toss the script and finally become the main character of your own life? What you'll hear today just might make you question everything. And trust me, that's where the magic begins. From the very start, Nietzscheanism grabs us by the collar and asks, who are you, really? It's not the kind of question you answer on a whim or over a quick coffee. The journey of self-discovery, in the light of existentialism, is more like peeling an onion. Every layer can bring a tear or two, but there's always another one beneath. Most people go through life never daring to look past the surface, but the few who do, well, they're in for quite an adventure. Have you ever wondered if the version of yourself that the world sees is even close to your true self? Nietzsche believed that finding one's true self isn't just a philosophical hobby, it's the very backbone of a meaningful existence. He championed the idea that you're not born with a ready-made identity. Oh, no, you build it, step by step, decision by decision, sometimes making a glorious mess along the way. Existentialism teaches us that our values and sense of purpose are not handed down like an old family recipe. Instead, you cook up your own flavor, blending the raw ingredients of experience, courage, and curiosity. Sounds liberating, but a bit scary too, right? If you're waiting for society to hand you the manual for happiness, Nietzscheanism would probably have a good laugh at your expense. The real trick, according to existentialism, is learning how to ask better questions about yourself. Why do you crave certain things? Why do some dreams stick with you, even when life gets tough? The answers to these questions are the stepping stones towards self-discovery and, ultimately, living as your true self. But before you get lost in deep thoughts, let's talk about how Nietzsche breaks this journey into practical steps. Nietzscheanism offers a kind of roadmap for anyone feeling lost at sea when it comes to purpose. Step 1. Figure out what gives your life meaning, your why. As Nietzsche famously said, he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. This isn't just poetic, it's practical. For example, if creating art, writing music, or raising a family lights up your world, those become your anchors when the storms hit. The secret is to keep your why front and center, especially when life gets messy. The next Nietzschean twist is pretty bold. If traditional religion doesn't speak to your soul, swap it out for the human experience itself. Embrace music, literature, philosophy, and even the wild adventure of learning something new. Existentialism isn't about blindly following dogmas, it's about making your own rules, and, in true Nietzsche style, even loving your fate. Yes, that means embracing the flops as much as the wins. Imagine adopting the mindset of the Bermensch, that superhuman ideal who invents his own playbook for life. Not a bad gig, right? Here's a practical move for your self-discovery journey. Pick one thing that genuinely excites you, maybe painting, learning a language, or volunteering, and let it become a small daily ritual. That's how you start creating your own meaning, bit by bit. The more you love your destiny, the less power setbacks have over you. As you experiment with new habits, you're not just surviving, you're actively shaping your existence. And just as you start feeling at home with your individuality, Nietzscheanism asks you to take on society's expectations. Nietzscheanism doesn't pull any punches when it comes to the herd mentality. Existentialism practically begs you to question the rules everyone else blindly follows. Why accept the normal path just because it's popular? The true self thrives when you stop living by someone else's script and start writing your own story. Think about it. Most trends, from fashion to beliefs, were invented by people just as confused as everyone else. Isn't it time to get curious about what actually fits you? It's not easy, of course. The moment you step out of the crowd, people might whisper, point fingers, or even roll their eyes. Nietzsche argued that breaking away from groupthink is essential for self-discovery, even if it means standing alone now and then. Real individuality means saying no to some expectations and yes to what feels authentically yours. If that path is less traveled, here's a challenge. The next time everyone's doing X, ask yourself, does this align with my values, or am I just going with the flow? If you want a real-world example, look at creative innovators or even entrepreneurs who disrupted their industries. People like Steve Jobs, who famously thought different. But it doesn't have to be teaching. Sometimes it's as simple as reading Nietzscheanism instead of whatever's trending on social media. Every choice to stand apart from the herd makes your true self a little clearer. And as you carve your own path, you'll realize that real self-discovery isn't always comfortable, which leads us straight into the next challenge. Nietzsche describes ... anyone who's ventured down the path of self-discovery knows it's no walk in the park. Makes that clear from the get-go. Existentialism reminds us that real growth rarely happens in comfort zones. Sometimes, becoming your true self means walking through a storm with only your convictions as an umbrella. There will be days when you question everything, and nights when doubts sneak in like uninvited guests. Still, those moments are goldmines for genuine self-understanding. Nietzsche warned that forging your own path often leads to loneliness or criticism. Society isn't always kind to those who step outside the herd. Yet, if you can embrace a bit of solitude, using it to reflect, create, and reset, something powerful happens. You start seeing which relationships and influences truly support your journey. Try journaling after a hard day, or spending time in nature without distractions. It's a practical way to nurture your emotional independence, a core theme in existentialism. But here's the payoff. Every obstacle you overcome adds another brick to the fortress of your individuality. Just as Nietzsche encouraged choosing, the harder road leads to a richer, more resilient self. Think of every challenge as training for the Olympics of being you. So while the world may push conformity, Nietzscheanism hands you the tools to shape your own freedom. And just when you think you've nailed it, he drops an even heavier question about what really matters. Nietzschean. Ism introduces us to the intriguing idea of the greatest weight, a thought experiment that's as challenging as it is enlightening. Imagine being told you must live your exact same life, with all its ups and downs, over and over for eternity. Existentialism uses this twist to force us into a corner. Are you making choices you'd gladly repeat? If not, maybe you're still stuck living by someone else's rules instead of your own. That's a sobering question, but a crucial one for true self-discovery. 2. Move toward authenticity. Nietzsche urges us to examine inherited beliefs and ask, does this moral code genuinely serve me, or am I just afraid to rock the boat? Maybe you grew up with the idea that success only looks a certain way, or that you should never question authority. But Nietzscheanism says it's your job to scrutinize those scripts, tossing out the ones that don't ring true and crafting values that fit your unique experience. It's like decluttering your mental closet. Keep what empowers you, donate the rest. A practical way to begin. Make a list of values you currently live by. Then honestly mark which ones you chose for yourself and which were handed down without question. Are you living someone else's story, or are you authoring your own? This level of self-discovery is demanding but rewarding, and every bold edit brings you closer to freedom. And when you finally start breaking those old chains, Nietzsche invites you to discover the exhilarating taste of real liberation. Nietzscheanism argues that liberation doesn't come from grand gestures, but from the quiet rebellion of living your own truth. Existentialism encourages you to question everything: traditions, religious dogmas, and the social circles that don't align with your evolving values. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do for your true self is to gently step away from what no longer fits, even if it means disappointing a few folks along the way. Remember, self-discovery isn't about burning bridges, but building new ones that support your growth. Freedom, in this sense, is a daily practice. That might mean surrounding yourself with people who champion your uniqueness, or seeking out mentors who challenge you to think deeper and act bolder. Practical tip: Pick one environment, relationship, or habit that drains your energy, and replace it with something that fuels your Nietzscheanism spirit. Maybe it's joining a new community, or simply dedicating time to a personal passion project. Little by little, your life becomes a reflection of your true, self-chosen values. The adventure doesn't stop there. As you get comfortable breaking old patterns, you'll notice the world opens up in surprising ways, new opportunities, unexpected connections, and a sense of peace that comes from living authentically. Existentialism insists that this journey is ongoing, never static. Each day is a fresh chance to choose your own path. And isn't that what makes the pursuit of the true self so endlessly fascinating? So now that you've had a taste of Nietzscheanism and existentialism, I have to ask, what's stopping you from diving deeper into your own self-discovery? How much of your life is still lived for someone else's approval? And what's one belief or habit you could question right now that would bring you closer to your true self? Are you ready to challenge the old scripts, let go of the herd mentality, and finally write your own story? Because if you don't take that first bold step, who will do it for you? Maybe it's time to ask yourself, are you living a life worth repeating, or just going through the motions? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's get a real conversation started. Tell me one thing you're going to do differently after today, or share a struggle you faced on your journey to self-discovery. And if you want to keep exploring big ideas, challenging beliefs, and finding new ways to live more authentically, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. There's so much more to uncover, and your journey is just beginning.